years from since the 20th century 2020 to the current, which is 2025 January. They did release the 2025 January paper ones, 2025, which they did not do for a lot of other papers, but they did do it for that. So the date on. So, alright, everyone, welcome back again to the channel. We'll be continuing the January paper one. I will start from the recent years, so you guys don't have to waste time skipping to the end of the video to find the recent year, which is 2025 January paper one. So we will start up with January paper one to begin with. At the start of the video, we will start off with that first of all. So we will be doing discussions. I am hoping because they did not release the answers for this. I'm just trying to answer it to the best of my ability for the time being because they did not release anything or they did not release the answers, the exact answers. So I could tell you that I'm 90% sure that I got majority. It's a very important disclaimer that I could really tell you guys right now, right off the bat. So this is a January paper one English questions. And you will see that when we are working these papers that they do bring a lot of repeat questions in English especially. Not a lot, but they bring enough repeat questions that you could have an adequate score. So anyways, people, let's actually start this on the answer sheet. The first question is, if you something, you have a good chance of something the interviewer that you're the right person. Actually convince them that we're the right person for the job. You cannot prompt them. Well, you could prompt them. Doing good night, bro. Anyways, we work in the 2025. This is the 2025 January paper one. We're trying to work the recent years. You hear me? Everything all right over there? Luke, join in next like a minute or something. Anyways, we probably walk till 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock tonight, so we could get up to like at least 2022. So anyways, we start. Look will come in a couple minutes. Each sentence has either one or two words missing. Choose a word which best completes the meaning of the sentence. Mark your choice on the answer sheet. If you something, you have a good chance of something the interviewer that you are the right person for the job. At least for me, from what I could see, is if you prepare thoroughly, which is here, which is at C, if you prepare thoroughly, you have a good chance of convincing the interviewer that you are the right person for the job. What do you think about it? Does this fit in?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
All right, because look at this, right? If you look at A, if you prepare carefully, you have a good chance of prompting the interviewer. I don't think it's carefully, because if you're doing something carefully, that doesn't really making sense. Doesn't really fit in there if you understand me. So it would be like C. Thoroughly. If you prepare thoroughly, you have a good chance of convincing. Let me see. The journalists were impressed by the something of the statesman whose speech had a profound something on all who heard him. Eloquence. So eloquence, effect. B is presence and result. C, emotion, sensation, and D is appearance and reaction. At least I'm taking a first look at it. I think it's actually A. Try to fit it in. What are you thinking? The journalists were impressed by the eloquence of the statesman whose speech had a profound effect on all who heard him. What are you thinking? I think it's actually A. What are you thinking, Dwayne?
Yeah, Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
What excellence?
Let me freaking talk about it.
No, no.
Alright, we know three. There are many who
Yeah.
try to something your effort because of their jealousy. This one is a repeat question. The actual one is thwart. Thwart means basically just put it. Thwart means to confuse or dismantle, or in simple terms, to destroy. So they would try to destroy, dismantle, or thwart means to basically confuse your efforts. So the answer for this one would basically be C. They would try to thwart your efforts. This is a repeat
Yeah.
question. Keon when trying Keon, I didn't have to tell Keon to join, but Keon said that he said he's studying by himself. Let's see, how far did four? Adamar and Joel and somebody and Luke supposed to come on couple just now. Although it is possible to move the house, the cost of moving it makes the project popular, impractical, worthwhile, inconsiderate. I get double mind on this one because I think it's B, impractical. Although, anyways, good night. Who is a PSG? Somebody, I think someone else thinks I would change the name. There's Joel.
Yeah,
I know it's
he knows me,
you
man.
always changing your name by um.
Joel,
Joel.
definitely. Like,
Anyway, just to get up to speed, you
So
up
this
with
one, I
um.
see it.
I know going on with
Get
Keon. Keon said Keon like he vexed or something. I don't know.
Keon Tino.
Three times. The man said he was like the man
Oh,
says the man tell me I study by myself like straight time with exclamation. I don't know what
what?
happened. I said he must be vexed or something, but I don't know.
Something
I'm
that I'm on
studying
exploring.
Josephine.
Here the
I'm
problem with all
studying
right?
the hours with it.
Here the problem with all. I could tell you the problem with all. We doing paper once. And the thing about paper ones is that it's open to interpretation. Right? Because you might think something, but the way you think it might be wrong. And the way somebody
I
else
Oh,
think he
thinking.
get off thinking.
No, but if you think about it, right? Paper ones could be open to interpretation. The best way for work paper ones is working with other people. So that
I'm
all
see one
oh,
embarrass
everybody
yourself
could
again.
think of the best decision possible. Because
I'm
when you
see
work,
one embarrass yourself.
yeah. So there's thing about paper ones. When you're doing paper two, you could probably study by yourself, but paper ones is a whole other thing by itself. If I understand what I'm trying to tell you.
Prepare. Oh, which one? Wait, this yeah.
This is 2025 January paper one for English.
Oh,
All right. You
I
could
see
probably
it.
look back at it, but you're moving. You're moving. They go on to four.
Yeah,
too
Although it
far
is
there.
Possible to move the house. Cost of moving it makes a project popular, impractical,
Um,
worthwhile,
oh,
inconsiderate. I think it is between B or C, impractical or worthwhile. What are you guys thinking?
stupid internet.
The way we're thinking about it. Although it is possible to move the house, the cost of moving it makes the project worthwhile or impractical.
I mean I wanna say I get into I get like these two answer impractical or worthwhile, but only one right there. But me no. Like I think it would be worthwhile. I mean, if you move to a more better place, maybe.
Here, I think, look at this. If you look at it, right, I think the answer is worthwhile too. Because look at this. Impractical
Yeah,
and
I said it's
worthwhile
worthwhile.
is a repetitive thing, and they put in two answers, and popular they immediately out. Impractical and
Yeah. Nobody
inconsiderate
wanna be.
is here with now five.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I said
was
worthwhile.
worthwhile.
Yes, is worthwhile. Because look at
Yeah,
impractical at B and look at inconsiderate at D. Them
yeah,
two
it look
terms
like the
is
same.
basically the same thing. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
if
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
it's 5 now.
most persons are usually something, those who say one thing and practice another. Sorry for,
What?
no. Attracted to, no. Mistaken
Oh,
about, no. Contemptuous.
I don't
Contemptuous mean like
contentious.
you're
Those are
sus. There's suspicious. They're usually very suspicious of. Because
those are
if,
usually sus.
because if you're saying
Those.
one thing and doing another thing, people are be suspicious about it in a sense. So they'll be contemptuous.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just how you put on that profile picture, man.
Eh? Just going settings, but going
Hey, Joel,
settings.
relax yourself, right?
Nah, but that's some nah, but
Just don't
can
get
go
at
just
this.
Satoru. Let's see.
Just
Joel,
don't
want
get
to put
at
up PSG in. Put up them all logo.
This is the same character from the manga, you know. This is the same character from the manga we make it.
Oh. Anyways, think go on to the other question. You read what say now.
Each sentence in this section has one word underlined. Choose from the four suggested answers a word which is closest to opposite the meaning to the underlying word. The views expressed by Mr. Jones were inconsistent with those of the committee.
Jones?
No, it's not hard. Inconsistent
Nah,
meaning
nah,
that
this
you're
one.
basically incompatible. Like I remember I said like you're very incompatible with her. It means that you're very inconsistent in a sense. You can't really match up. Because
Inconsistent.
because if you're saying consistent, I mean that y'all then the same wavelength. But if you're saying
Yeah,
compatible, we basically trying to say that y'all they on the same wavelength or y'all consistent with each other. You have a very consistent. There was a mass.
Don't not be
Yeah, that's
immigration.
easy. Immigration people come to the country. Immigration with the E is people going out to the country. So there's basically
Yeah.
Joel spot the one from last.
there's social studies.
Nah.
Social studies English E. He was eager to share the views with his friends. Reluctant.
um
Look at it.
Reluctant is
Worried.
the like the
Yes, reluctant because reluctant. If you
yeah.
even you want to share it right now, you want to get tell everybody. But if you're basically reluctant, you don't want to share the information. So to be reluctant, where are we now? Nine. Joel, take a read at nine. Joel, you want to read nine? And on here.
We will see that in a bit.
All right, let me try to read it. The president of the
Yeah,
Students Association never mentions the treasurer's integrity. What's the opposite of the skill, loyalty, inability, dishonesty? Look good night, bro. We know that integrity means that, like, if you say somebody has a high integrity, we mean that they have a high understanding of what's right and what's wrong, or what's right. If somebody said,
yeah.
so
you are very you have a lot of integrity. You have a lot. Yes, dishonest.
The
Yeah, it's dishonest. Stacy want her passport renewal to be expedited, but it was not. Yeah, I know expedited mean.
um Um,
Expedited.
Subjective.
yeah. um,
You know what expedited mean?
They could have put
Expedited.
this on most simple dog. Oh my gosh.
She wanted to speed up the process of getting her passport. So if you're speeding up it, you
That's E.
It's
basically
gonna be deep.
it'll be
That's E.
English is that mountain or reading. Oh my god, but it's enough reading, but once
The
you get like
English is you're
Same, boy.
mixing up sometimes, you know.
you get like 5 passages for reading English here paper one. Revise
Don't
it,
need none of these things.
you get enough passage you gotta read. But the passage them is usually repeat. So when you walking through the years, you gotta see how they're repeating. Revise each of the following sentences according to the directions that follow it. Do not change the meaning of the original sentence. Look at the options A to D for the word or phrase that best suits the
Okay, let's do gone, boy.
I don't want to get funny, you know.
back.
Easily.
It say you can read it back with so much because it said basically right there. The accident caused so much of traffic on the highway, so we found an alternative route, right? For this one is eventually we found an alternative route, right? The actual answers for this is D because we don't want to change the meaning. We don't want to change the meaning of the original sentence, right? So the accident caused a lot of traffic on the highway. Eventually, we found an alternative route. You gotta look at the term so. Wait, let me look back at this thing. No. Eventually, then over there is A. No, it's D, D. Yes, the answer for this one is D. Yeah, guys, see how we get to the answer?
Yeah.
You see, given that the teachers had made final arrangements, they were very annoyed when only a few students showed up for the field trip. The teachers were very annoyed when only a few students showed up for the field trips.
Then that's E.
Yeah?
Or was mid
Um, it's actually
or
look,
C
it's actually
has
D.
been made.
Is D because look at this, right? It's occurring right now, right? Because look at this, they were very annoyed. Look at the term war. It's presently occurring, right? You gotta look at the terms. So if you read everything, it's the sentence supposed to sound like this. Since final arrangements had been made, the teachers were since final decisions were being made, the teachers were very annoyed when only a few students showed up for the field trip. That's how it would sound if you read it out back again. It's presently happening. The answer you're making no changes, right? Let's see. More is experience in one day of life of a learned man than an arrogant man experiences in his whole life. Well, that's such a weird sentence. Begin the sentence with a learned man. A learned man um experienced. Now this sentence is making sense. A
The what
learned
does sense
man
making no?
a learned man experiences more in one day. What?
No, man. That song like Laurent man has more experience in one day. That not some weird.
In one day than an arrogant man experiences in his whole life. So how far you actually this is which one? We said just said it Joel. See experience a learned man experience no it's not though. Become we have big if it's no it's not though. Become right beginning the
I
sentence with a learned man. A learned man
Lord man.
So
experiences
you
more
think
in
it
one
be
day.
D?
Eh? No,
You think it be D?
yeah, it'll be between A or D, but it's actually D because remember he actually experienced it presently. It's not past tense,
Yeah.
so it can be B. It can't be C and it can't be A because it's presently happening.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, then tell me about it right
People
away.
now you know the same way.
Yeah, because if you read it back, it's presently happening. It's not past tense. Let's see where are we now. This is a repeat question.
Oh,
What would you then, right?
I sent it to Kieran, but
John yesterday.
yeah,
Yesterday.
no, to be honest with you, right? I tell you what now, man. You know, for the past like week or something, we've been doing like video, we been doing things like this, say like for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, one time, buddy. Them are tired. Them are tired for real, you know. Them are real tired, buddy.
Yeah, but they the one see me fall asleep.
You know, but I get a man doing like that every day since 6 o'clock to like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm not tired, boy.
Oh,
Every day.
we make for the kid like you, what eh?
Eh? Them are
We make
tired.
for the kid like you.
I talk to kid and kid and say I'm tired, but I gotta stop this thing for the this thing is too much for me. Alright. Involved in school. While at my was it while I was involved in
I
begin
was
this
What was this
involved
question?
in.
is
I
14.
I
began
was
it at I was
involved.
involved.
It got for B while I was.
I was involved in when stay.
During
Or
my
wait.
stay. No, it can't be stay. It can't be nothing with stay.
For
During my
my
time at school,
while
I was involved in extracurricular activities during my time at no.
No,
Let me read
remember we
that.
got began the sentence I was
the
involved.
question is
Let's see if we could articulate it.
articulate.
While I was involved,
American.
I was involved
In
in school. Now, by saying very weird. So what are you thinking, boy?
Why are you looking at this thing at me? Know what you thinking?
While I was involved in school,
Can't literally mean.
because imagine, right, that we going in CSEC and a question so that we know what to do.
Hey, Joseph, what you write me name down, right?
Is Joel doing the thing, boy?
It's me, dog. It's
Hey,
me.
Joel, left for your it's right. Negative 100 is my putting for me name, right?
I was involved in extra. Remember what they say? They actually changed the question. Let look at this thing properly. Because remember, I was involved. It start here. It start right here. Right? So I was involved in extracurricular activities while I was at school. Now I get it. Now I get it. Now I get it. You guys seen though? You guys seen the light?
Yeah. Mhm.
So you could just put it down there just for notes. You guys could probably take note later. Curricular activities while I was staying at school. So yes.
Joseph, but when you click back there, like, it still
That's
had
a lot to
staying
run
in
out in time.
Yeah?
How
I
much?
know
How
that
much?
staying in
It's
the
like how much?
sentence.
we get 1 hour and 30
How much?
minutes. Around 2 to 3 minutes per
Mm.
question. So if you don't taking so
So
long,
I'm to
boy.
them big. I'm to them big long paragraph questions. You read
Oh
in 2 minutes too.
God. We don't want to talk.
Hey, question is repeating this thing, Joseph.
Yeah, questions repeat. For this
Yeah,
year,
some questions
15 of these
and some of them
questions.
lazy. Some of them lazy.
Matter of fact, for all
Hey,
papers are
some of them be
lazy.
silly.
For all them papers are
I'll
lazy.
take
Yeah.
one.
The year I'm
Joel hearing you, what happened?
you I'm right. When the big passenger man be so lazy, I just put back the thing and I'll sing worry about reading it. You just gotta know the answer.
Yeah. That's what we're trying to do, buddy. Because we work from 2020 to 2025. Because here's the mindset of some students right now. I'll tell you the mindset of some students. Some students say, I do these papers already. I ready. That's the mindset, right? But even if you finish off
Mm-hmm.
them paper, you might not remember the answer exactly. So hey, when you going exam now,
Nope.
you'll be like, what was the answer again? That'll be a mindset. So if you walk it right now and you refresh your mind right now, when going exam everything will be easy, buddy. This is why we're doing it back now.
But everybody,
So your mind is
everyone,
fresh.
everybody got one answer. Everybody got no one answer. Everybody do sign language and just, question.
But I just want to do this thing because if you notice, doing for the past last week, we do past papers 2020 to 2024 to 2025 every day before exam for refresh your mind. Everybody said them thing with easy body.
Yeah.
Look at that now, 50.
All right, question 15 now, long question.
She found even after she had made several attempts to regulate the sprinkler that the water was still reaching the furniture on the veranda. So we have to start off with having made several attempts to regulate the sprinkler that the water was still reaching the furniture on the veranda. This one easy, by.
That's it.
Yeah, she found that. No, wait.
Yeah, she found.
Straightforward.
No. Yeah. E. The time.
Straightforward one.
The time of
Gosh.
some sentences are acceptable as they stand. No sentence contains more than one appropriate element. Select one on the line part that is inappropriate and choose a corresponding letter A, B, C, or A, B, or C. If the sentence is acceptable as it stands, choose D. The nurses were given separate quarters because the main building did not have enough rooms for them. I see no errors. Y'all guys seen any errors? I just separate the okay,
Nope.
given enough the okay. It's D. Nothing wrong with it. It is my pleasure to give you some information concerning proper nutrition. Pleasure. Nah, he looking okay too.
I don't see number 18 is a A.
Yeah? Which one?
I say I see number 18 is A or just that I didn't know if it's spell this word.
Museum? Nah, museum sound okay. Let me read the question. When the museum purchased his paintings, the patrons posted many compliments. Oh, this one is not compliments, it's complaints. Vale, right there. This one here is complaints. You see now? It's not compliments, it's complaints. Yeah, see now?
Yeah.
It's not compliments. Because patrons is people who want buy the basically the painting. So if the museum buy a painting, they're not posting compliments, they're complaining. So it's actually let's see. 19 years supposed to done this already. What his intelligence rather than his height was the deciding factor when considering him for the job. Look at B. Look at B. What you guys thinking? What I show
If
ya.
Joel spell the thing like nobody.
That's not. Let's see. AGHT. It's supposed to get error. Just now.
HEI.
You see? Wrong. It's wrong. You see the right? It's wrong.
Yeah, HEI.
It's HEIGHT. Let's see. So that'll be B. Wait, Joel has abandoned us?
Oh shit.
I know you must see left to do something, no? Probably join back later. He thought it best to sacrifice the match and submit to the ridicule of the team for his friend's sake. Nah, this year okay too. This year okay. Oh my god, this thing again. How much reading team you have to do? Each sentence in this section has one word in the line. Choose from the four suggested answers the word which is nearest in meaning to the underlying word. It is impossible to rectify the error made by the computer since inaccurate information had been fed to it. Correct, because rectify means to like correct it to correct an issue.
Oh.
To be
Yeah.
correct. The flowers grow profusely in the garden, widely, healthily, abundantly, colorfully. What are you thinking?
Let's see.
Yeah,
Abundantly.
abundantly, yeah. The new story revealed a scalar of the old city. Scalar means that the nasty side, the destructive side, stuff like that.
Uh,
So the answer for
no,
what they say would be destitution, which means that like the dirty side of it, the nasty side. So that's what
yeah,
scalar means. Across the island. The thing is here is incessantly. Could hardly see it, but it's incessantly. Noisily, furiously, constantly, occasionally. I think it's constantly, incessantly. It go down
yeah,
consistently. You know.
constant
Yeah. For the first time in a decade, the company disclosed a deficit in its account. Remember, deficit is like a
defect,
loss. So
defect.
wait, you sure it's defect because a deficit mean like a loss, like a dung sliding thing basically. It won't be a
And
defect because remember defect is like an error or I think it would be a shortfall.
it might be a shortfall there because it might be a fall in the company or something.
Yeah. Because it's like a loss, like a shortfall in its account.
Yeah,
Not a
yeah, I
it's like a
lost.
loss. Let me just read it. Look at the world. I look at the world from awakening eyes in a black face, and this is what I see. This fenced off narrow space assigned to me. I look then at the city walls through dark eyes and a dark face, and this is what I know. That all these walls oppression build will have to go. I look at my own body with eyes no longer blind, and I see that my own hands can make this world that the world that's in my mind. Then let us hurry, comrades, the road to find. Then now, let's use this sharp passage. Question. The speaker in the poem is most likely. Look at the words. Let's look back at here. I think it is just he's a slave. He's a slave. Guys, look at this. Fin staff assigned to me. Look at the word. I think he's trying to say that he's
And, uh,
basically fin staff from the world, which is like slavery. Fin staff. Look at the word fin staff assigned to me. No ordinary person is
uh,
there though. What you could even look at it farther when you like the term oppression builds will have to go. Yeah, he's a slave. You could see that. In the fourth stand, the speaker best describes a man who had just woken up from a nap, a person who likes to travel the world, someone who is realizing that their world is restricted, an individual who feels uncomfortable in tight spaces, who is realizing the world is restricted. Yes, I think it's C. Because as a slave, you
yeah,
can't really do much, so in this case would be C. In
yeah,
stanza
plus you're
2,
going to slavery.
yeah, because like if you're doing slavery, you can't really do things like you want. You're basically
Yeah, yeah,
restricted in that sense. In stanza 2, the speaker decides that the walls of oppression are to be torn down. Yes, to be torn down. Look at the time they will have to go. The walls of oppression will have to go. So for here,
yeah,
be torn down. There we know, 29. The lines of fence off narrow space, lines 4 and walls of oppression build help develop the meaning of the poem as they show the effects and consequences of oppression, indicate the speaker's intention to fight against oppression, reveal how oppression limits people's opportunities in life, highlight how walls are used to keep people. I believe it's C. Reveal how oppression limits people's opportunities and what are you
yeah.
thinking? What are you
Anything
thinking?
about B.
Indicator the speaker's intention to fight against it. Really just take a one glimpse at it, just make sure. Um yes, I think it's actually B because and I see that my own hands there's like somebody folding up their hands for like fight in a sense. My own hand because nobody would settle like just out of the blue. So yeah, it's actually
Yeah.
B indicated speakers fight against oppression. What is the overall message of the poem? To break down walls is not as easy as building them. For imagination become reality, a lot of time is needed. People have the power to work together to create a better world. Change must take place from nah, it can't be this one here. I think it's actually C because look at the last line here, right? And I see that my own hands can make this world the world that's in my mind. Then let us hurry, comrades, the road to find.
Yeah,
A question: people have the power to create a
work
better
together.
world, to work together.
Yeah, those we tell me, comrades.
Yeah. Anyways, we close off here for now. Want to take a little break and stuff like that. Drink your water. Make sure everything alright with you. We start back in next like 10, 15 minutes.
All right, good, good, good.
Mm-hmm. Alright, Ben, adios. Welcome back, everyone. Let us close out this paper now. I did take a short break, so hopefully that is not much of a big issue. So, just to catch up, everyone, we are working the 2025 English A Paper 1 for January. Anyways, let's continue working. Still live, everyone. Hopefully, everyone is doing good out there. We are continuing the live stream on English A. This is a marathon, everyone, paper here. All right, people, we are back again with the usual. Hopefully, everyone is doing good out there. We will be continuing the marathon on English A Paper 1, 2025. We're working the January Paper 1. I did work 2024. We have 2023, 2022, and 2021 complete. I will do an individual video on that with myself, but we're working the 2025 English A Paper 1 January for tonight. So let's continue. Let's read the items for toward the 1 to toward the 8. Let's read a passage. Kino and Joanna came to the place where the brush houses stop and the city of stone and plaster began. The city of harsh outer walls and inner cool gardens, where little water played on the bougainvillea crusted the walls with purple and brick red and white. They heard from the secret garden the singing of cage boards and heard the splashing of cooling water on hot flax stones. The procession crowded the blinding plaza and passed in front of the church. It had grown now, and in the outskirts the hurrying newcomers were being softly informed how the baby had been stung by a scorpion, how the father and mother were taking it to the doctor. And the newcomers, particularly the beggars from the front of the church, who were great expert in financial analysis, looked quickly at Joanna's old blue skirt, saw the tears in her shawl, appraised the green ribbon on her braids, read the age of Kino's blanket, and the thousand washings of his clothes, and set them down as poverty people, and went along to see what kind of drama might develop. The four beggars in front of the church knew everything in the tongue. They were students of the expressions of young women, as they knew as they went in to confession, and they saw them as they came out and read the nature of the sin. They knew every little scandal and some very big crimes. They slept in their at their post in the shadow of the church, so that no one crept in for consolation without their knowledge. And they knew the doctor. They knew his arrogance, his cruelty, his avarice, his appetite, his sins. They knew his clumsy abortions and the little brown pennies he gave sparingly for alms. They had seen his corpses go into the church, and since early mass was over and businesses were very slow. They followed the procession, these endless searchers after perfect knowledge of their fellow men, to see what the fat, lazy doctor would do about an indigent baby with a scorpion bite. The scurrying procession came at last to the big gate in the wall of the doctor's house. They could hear the splashing of the water, and the singing of cage birds, and the weep of the long brooms on the flagstones, and they could smell. Doing good night again. I'll continue right now reading the passage for toward the 1 to toward the 8. By after this,
Yeah,
after you finish all this paper studying for going and jump into the Math 2025 January. What do you think about that?
yeah, I go see. Yeah,
Everybody,
one of them man, he come back.
as Cadence coming. I know I ain't come, but I send the link to you already. Everybody
How is
want
Joel?
everybody. I know Joel there. Everybody want to walk the maths paper 1 for January 2025.
Oh, good, good.
Anyways,
We don't have the
we
paper.
don't have this one and we jump into the maths. We give it a 20 minutes break or 30 minutes break just to make sure everybody there, all right? And then we jump into the
Yeah,
maths
yeah,
after we finish up this day. Let's see. So we gotta
yeah,
read this
good, good.
passage here. Kino and James came to the place where the brush houses stop and the city of stone and plaster begin. The city of harsh outer walls and inner cool gardens where a little water played, and the bougainvillea crusted the walls with purple and brick red and white. They heard from the secret gardens the singing of cage birds and heard the splashing of cooling water on hot flagstones. The procession crossed the blinding plaza and passed in front of the church. It had grown now, and in the outskirts the hurrying newcomers were being softly informed how the baby had been stung by a scorpion, how the father and mother were taking it to the doctor. And the newcomers, practically the beggars from the front of the church, who were great experts in financial analysis, looked quickly at Joanna's old blue skirt, saw the tears in her shawl, appraised the green ribbon on her braids, read the age of Kino's blanket and the thousand washings of his clothes, and sat them down as poverty people, and went along to see what kind of drama might develop. The four beggars in front of the church knew everything in the tongue. They were they were students of expressions of young women as they went into confession, and they saw them as they came out and read the nature of the sin. They knew every little scandal and some very big crimes. They slept at their post in the shadow of the church so that no one crept in for consolation without their knowledge. And they knew the doctor. They knew his arrogance, his cruelty, his avarice, his appetites, and his sins. They knew his clumsy abortions and the little brown pennies he had sparingly for alms. They had seen his corpses go into the church, and since early mass was over and businesses was very slow, they followed the procession, these endless searchers, after perfect knowledge of their fellow man, to see what the fat, lazy doctor would do about his wounds. They could hear the splashings of water and the singing of cage birds